Chapter 1. Alice White stared at the divorce papers on the table and realized that her husband had already signed them. Then she looked toward the window. Jasper Beckett's upright figure reflected in her watery eyes. He looked charming under the afternoon sun, but also cold and domineering. Even from behind, he radiated aloofness. "I've signed it. You should also hurry and sign it. I want to finish all the legal procedures before Leah returns." Jasper had his hands clasped behind him and didn't turn to look at her. "We've already agreed on the assets before marriage, so there won't be any issues with that. However, I will compensate you with another 20 million and a villa on the outskirts. After all, you'd be leaving without anything else. It'd be hard for me to explain that to Grandpa later if you do." Alice was stunned and upset. Does Grandpa know you're divorcing me? So what if he knows? Do you think it'll affect my decision?" After hearing that, Alice felt faint and grasped the table tightly. Then, she asked softly while on the verge of tears, "Jasper, can we not get a divorce?" Finally, Jasper turned around and looked at her with a strange gaze. He had thin lips, deep eyes, and fierce features. Alice would still feel a flutter in her heart when she looked at his perfectly contoured face. "Why?" Because I love you." Alice's eyes were red and filled with tears. "I love you, Jasper. I still want to be your wife. Even if you don't have any feelings for me. Alice White, I've had enough. Every second is torture to me in this loveless marriage." Jasper waved his hand. He didn't have the patience to listen to her anymore. "It was a mistake that you married me. You knew I was fighting with Grandpa. You also knew I had feelings for someone else, and we couldn't be together. Now that the 3-year period is up and Leah is returning from Mosgravia, it's time you vacate the position of Mrs. Beckett." Alice had her head down, and her tears fell onto the table. She quickly wiped them away. Still Jasper saw it, and his gaze became deeper. At this time his phone rang. When he saw the caller, he quickly answered it. "Leah, have you boarded the plane?" His tone was extremely soft. He was totally unlike the indifferent, cold man that Alice knew. "Jasper, I'm already at Solana City Airport." Leah's excited voice sounded through the phone. "What? Didn't you say you would fly tonight? I wanted to give you a surprise. Leah, wait for me. I'll pick you up right now." With that, he quickly walked past Alice. Once the study room door closed, the depressed atmosphere remained. Alice had had a crush on Jasper for 10 years, and they were married for 3 years. She had given her all for this family and stayed loyal to him. Yet in the end, he only felt as though it was torture. Now that Jasper was finally freed, he ruthlessly abandoned her, excited to marry his first love. Alice felt pain in her heart. She could never make him fall for her no matter how hard she tried. After that, she took a deep breath and shook her head as tears fell onto Jasper's name on the divorce papers. That night, Jasper took Liana Gardner back to Seaview Manor. The delicate woman was being held in his arms. They entered the villa in a dignified manner, attracting everyone's attention. "Jasper, you haven't divorced Alice yet. I don't think it's a good idea for us to be so close. Alice would be mad at me." Liana caressed Jasper's chest as she spoke. "She won't." Jasper didn't hesitate. "I don't love her anyway. We're just in a contractual relationship. She knows her place." Everyone in the Beckett family surrounded Liana and showed their concern. Only Alice was left alone in the dining room, getting dinner ready. Amid the chaos, Jasper caught a glimpse of his wife's lonely figure and smirked. He thought, even at this point, she's still like a loyal maid, serving the Becketts. Does she think there would be a chance for things to turn around? Ridiculous. "Mr. Beckett! Mr. Beckett!" The butler suddenly rushed over in a panic. "Madam Alice, she left." "Left? When did she leave?" Just a moment ago. She didn't take anything." After she removed her apron, she left from the back door and was picked up in a black car. Jasper rushed to the bedroom to find it immaculate. Only a signed divorce agreement was on the bedside, and he could still see the tear stains. He frowned and walked to the window. A Rolls-Royce sped away from the Seaview Manor and soon vanished into the dark. Wasn't she unwilling to leave in the afternoon? Now she's quick to disappear. Displeased, Jasper called his secretary. "Find out who's the owner of the car with the plate A9999. "Yes, Mr. Beckett." After 5 minutes, his secretary called. "Mr. Beckett, we found it. The car belongs to the president of KS Group." "The president of KS Group? Alice came from a village. She was poor with no outstanding background. She didn't even have any friends during their 3 years together. How could she know the president of KS Group? Had she moved on so quickly and found herself another man? Mr. Beckett, did you really divorce Madam Alice today? The secretary asked tentatively. What's the matter? Can't I do it today? When do you think I should divorce her then? Jasper was furious. It's her birthday today. Jasper was taken aback when he heard that. On the back seat of the Rolls-Royce, Jonah Taylor took Alice's hand and gently squeezed it. When Silas heard you were coming back, he prepared a bunch of fireworks to welcome you. I'm not in the mood for fireworks. Now, she had returned to her status as a scion of the Taylor family. She leaned on her eldest brother's shoulder and sighed. Her eyes glistened with tears. Then, she glanced at Alice White's phone to read the last message there. It was not from her ex-husband, but from Liana. What did I tell you? You'll have to give me back my position after you stole it from me. Jasper is mine. Don't even dream about getting him to stay with you. She smiled wryly and finally came to her senses after shedding one last tear. What's the matter? Can't you bear to leave? Jonah hugged her, his heart aching for his sister. Jonah, it's my birthday today. I know. That bastard should be struck by lightning for choosing today to do this to you. That's why I don't feel like I can't bear to leave. Jasper killed Alice White today. When Alyssa Taylor opened her eyes again, she no longer showed any sentiments for Jasper. I finally get to be free. If I ever go back, I'm better off dead. Chapter 2. Liana was the niece of Jasper's father's current wife, so she got along well with the family during dinner. In contrast, Jasper was the only one with a frown and no appetite. Alice had left with Jonah and taken nothing with her, including the 20 million and the villa. Where's Alice? Why isn't she joining us for dinner? Jasper's father, Javier Beckett, asked. We're divorced. The papers are already signed. We will go through the procedures soon and get the divorce certificate. Jasper looked down as he answered. Shocked, Javier asked. Divorce? Why? Javier, I told you Jasper and Alice aren't a good match. Still, your father forced them to get married. His wife, Sophia Kirkman, couldn't help but sigh. She's suffered a lot during these 3 years. It's a good thing for them both that she's finally let go. Now they can live their own lives. You know that Jasper has always been in love with Leah. Jasper, marriage isn't child's play. Moreover, Dad, we've signed the divorce papers. Alice has also left, and she didn't take anything with her. Jasper frowned irritatedly. Whoa, that country bumpkin is quite principled. Jasper's sister, Betty Beckett, sneered. Don't tell me this is one of her tricks. I hope she doesn't make up rumors that the Becketts mistreated her. When Jasper heard this, he became sullen. Jasper, I think you've acted rashly in this. Your grandfather is still sick. How are you going to explain this to him? Javier couldn't hold back his irritation, as he was afraid that his father would be outraged by the divorce. I will publicly announce my marriage with Liana next month. Liana stared at Jasper's handsome face. The happiness in her eyes was obvious. Absolute nonsense. How could you abandon your wife of 3 years so casually? Your reputation will be tarnished. I never cared about such things. Alice White was never the woman I wanted to marry. Jasper's stance was firm, and he didn't show a hint of regret. Uncle Javier, please don't blame Jasper. If you have to blame someone, then blame it on me. Liana leaned on Jasper and said, It was my fault. I shouldn't have visited. I'll return to Mosgravia tomorrow morning. Jasper, you should get back together with Alice. I don't want to be the villain who broke this relationship. Liana, this has nothing to do with you. Jasper's gaze was fathomless as he said that. Then he took her hand. There are no feelings between Alice White and me. I've endured it for 3 years, and I'll never wrong you again. The night breeze was chilly. Jonah took Alyssa to the lake and boarded a yacht to enjoy the beautiful city nightscape. He hoped this would cheer her up. Jonah, are you trying to torment me? Alyssa looked at the couples around her. This is a place for couples to date. I wouldn't dare to come to such a place even during normal times. Really? You can only blame Silas. He prepared the fireworks here, and they'll start at 8. Jonah looked at his watch elegantly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With a loud explosion, a huge purple firework ignited the sky. All the couples nearby gathered at the deck, and many more came to the shore to watch. Silas certainly has terrible taste. Alyssa shook her head, but felt happy in her heart. Think about the weird gifts you've received in the past. He has improved a lot. Jonah held his sister's shoulder and gently pulled her into his embrace. This is not the only gift for you. We've all prepared something, and they're piled up in your room. You are loved by many, so give your love and time to the people worthy of it. Alyssa was touched by his words, and she was on the verge of tears. Right then, a black Maybach stopped outside the crowd. Jasper held Liana's hand as they exited the car. Since it was breezy, Liana hugged Jasper tightly. Oh my, the fireworks are so pretty. Jasper, look. Liana displayed her childlike innocence when she was with Jasper, and that was what he loved about her. It differed from Alice White's incomprehensible dullness, which he disliked. In the past 3 years, Alice only had one advantage: she was obedient. But what was the use of that? Jasper didn't love her at all. They walked to the railing. Suddenly, fireworks bloomed together, turning into a line of words in the air that read, "Happy birthday." Oh, it's someone's birthday. Who is the lucky person getting such an amazing present? Liana said in an envious tone. However, Jasper was shocked, and he felt something tugging at his heartstrings. He pursed his lips and thought, it's Alice White's birthday today. Did Jonah prepare this as a birthday gift for her? Then, a familiar bright voice sounded as a yacht passed in front of them, a man and a woman on its deck. It was Alice and Jonah. Ah, isn't that Alice? Who's that guy beside her? He seems familiar, and they both look intimate. Liana acted naive as she asked this. Jasper felt a sudden burst of anger, and his knuckles turned white when he grasped the railings tightly. They hadn't officially divorced, and yet Alice was having fun with another man. Why did she cry so pitifully in the afternoon then? After 2 laps around the lake, the yacht stopped by the shore. When the passengers had left, Jonah put an arm around Alyssa's waist, and they got down together. Alice White! Alyssa froze when she heard that name. She looked back to find Jasper walking toward her. His handsome face still captured her heart, but it was all useless now. Jasper himself had rejected the love she had given him for 13 years, and she couldn't love him anymore. Who is he? Jasper's expression was cold and demanding. Mr. Beckett, you seem to have a poor memory. Jonah held his sister tightly and smiled. We've competed in business a couple of times. Alice White, answer my question. Jasper ignored Jonah and walked closer to her. Mr. Beckett, we're divorced. What does it have to do with you who he is? Alyssa replied in a cold and arrogant tone. Jasper's expression changed. He couldn't believe the usually obedient Alice would speak to him in such a tone. We haven't officially divorced, yet you're already so eager to cling to another man. How dare Jasper accuse Alyssa when he was the one to cheat on her in this marriage? Jonah was furious and was about to hit Jasper, but Alyssa stopped him. However, her actions only enraged Jasper. We haven't officially divorced, yet your first love can't wait to take my place. I didn't say a thing when she replaced me so quickly. What right do you have to stop me from being with another guy? Alyssa's hair fluttered in the wind, her red lips curled into a smirk. This was the first time he had seen such a beautiful side of her. It was filled with a wildness that was difficult to tame. What's the matter? Is the ex-husband the only one allowed to get mad, while his ex-wife isn't allowed to make a fuss? Jasper was speechless at her harsh words. At this time, Liana finally caught up. She noticed Jasper still held some sentiments for Alice, and stomped her feet angrily. However, she was in heels, and she twisted her ankle instead. With that, she fell to the ground. Ah, Jasper, my ankle hurts. Only then did Jasper return to his senses and help Liana from the ground. When he turned back, the other couple had disappeared from sight. Chapter 3. The Heights' new villa in Bellbanks was home to the Taylor family. The Rolls-Royce stopped on the red carpet leading to the door of the building. Silas came out to welcome his sister and opened the car door for her. Welcome back, Princess. Alyssa's delicate face looked even more stunning under the dazzling lights. When she got in the car, she had changed from sneakers to heels. Therefore, she now looked elegant like a queen. How have you guys been, Silas? Great. It's even better now that you're back. Did you enjoy the fireworks? My birthday gift for you attracted the whole city's attention. It was even trending on social media. Silas' handsome face was filled with excitement. Yes, I saw it. The people were guessing if it was a tycoon trying to romance his wife, and some even said you were corny. Congratulations on unlocking a new achievement, Silas. Alyssa smiled and clapped her hands. Silas ignored her sarcasm and excitedly hugged her. Lice, you won't leave us again, right? No. He divorced me, so why would I leave now? Alyssa patted her brother's back to comfort him. She sighed. I embarrassed you guys. For 3 years. I thought I could make him fall in love with me if I persisted and put in all my effort. In the end, I failed so badly. Heaven knew how bitter she felt, but she endured it all. She swore that she would never shed another tear for Jasper once she stepped out of the Beckett's house. It wasn't worth it. That bastard Jasper Beckett. How dare he bully my sister? I will start a thorough investigation of the Beckett group tomorrow. Then, I'll have Axel assassinate that jerk. When Jonah heard that, he muttered an amen. Don't mess around, Silas. You're a public prosecutor. Alyssa laughed wryly. Can't you be like Jonah? Learn to be more peaceful. Bullshit. You don't know the bad things he did before becoming the peaceful guy he is now. Silas pulled his tie in anger and said, Anyway, I won't just let this matter pass. He can bully me but not my sister. Since he dares to do so, he will always be on my radar. Alyssa took Jonah's arm on the left and Silas on the right. The three of them happily walked into the house that Alyssa dearly missed. When the chairman of KS Group, Winston Taylor, heard that his daughter was returning, the happiness on his usually stern face was obvious. He was so delighted that he paced around his study. Dad, I'm back. Alyssa came to the study with her brothers. In contrast to the usually gentle and virtuous attitude she showed to the Becketts, she directly laid on the sofa and kicked away her heels. Jonah also sat down and took his sister's slender and fair legs, putting them on his own and giving her a massage. Where are your manners? Did you go somewhere to become a doctor with Doctors Without Borders again? Were you in some backwater village? Winston deliberately maintained a straight face. He couldn't help but feel like they were fated to clash. He would miss her if he didn't see her. But when they were in the same room, she always pissed him off. Is this a sign of Alzheimer's? I've always been like this. Is this your first day of being my father? Then, she looked up and was shocked. On the wall were some posters she had made more than a decade ago. She was not sure when her father found them, and he even framed them on the wall. One of the posters wrote, Do you think you're Adonis? Having multiple wives doesn't make you attractive. The other poster wrote, Better take care of your health now that you're old. Otherwise, you might die of a stroke. Another wrote, Please show yourself some respect. Thank you. This was a wedding gift she gave Winston when he got married for the 3rd time. The Taylors became a hot topic of discussion because Winston had 4 wives. Alyssa wasn't happy with her family's situation, so she studied abroad and became a doctor with Doctors Without Borders, saving many lives. After leaving home for 3 years, the first thing you do is curse your old man. What a considerate daughter I have. Winston was furious, and he glared at her. Thank you for the praise, Daddy. Alyssa laughed. Dad, we should hurry up and discuss some matters since Lice is back. Jonah put his sister's shoes on for her. Then he said solemnly, I've decided to give up my position as KS Group's president. Let Lice take my place instead. Alyssa was shocked and stared at her brother's handsome face. You. Winston was speechless. Dad, Alyssa is back. I only promised to be the president for 3 years, and I need to return to church. You know this isn't my passion. Being a pastor is my lifelong dream. At this moment, there seemed to be a holy light behind him. Moreover, his stance was firm. Let Silas do it then. Forced into a corner, Winston had no other choice but to try and bargain with him. No. I work for the government. I can't have any connections with large financial companies. What if I get investigated? Silas quickly refused his father's offer. His face was pale from shock. Winston felt depressed. What was the use of having so many sons? All of them were doing amazing themselves, but no one was willing to inherit his business. His health had been declining, and he had planned long ago to retire. Unfortunately, no one in his family could take on the business empire he had built. It was not that he didn't dote on his daughter. He was just a stubborn old guy who believed that sons would be better heirs. Who told you a woman can't do what a man does? I'll be the president. Alyssa smiled and proudly raised her chin. Do you think it's that easy? KS Group is not child's play. Do you think a kid like you can lead the company? And do you even know how to manage a business? Winston didn't hide the anger and sadness on his face. Most importantly, you never stay the course. You always suddenly disappear without a trace. You even went to Gawa for 3 years without a word. Do you know how worried I was? How worried your mothers were? I thought you were bombed to shreds over there. Alyssa's heart ached at the words, a lump forming in her throat. Even though she felt that her father owed her mother a lot, and she held a lot of grievances against him, she had been wrong to go silent for 3 years and marry Jasper, without telling him about it. Dad, Lys is no less capable than me. Jonah picked up the cup and took a sip. Do you remember the financial crisis we suffered 4 years ago? Lys was the one who suggested a few effective company control measures. Also, it was Lys who stayed up for several nights to create the acquisition plan for the Willow Group 2 years ago. Winston was shocked to hear that. Dad, you don't understand Lys well enough. Compared to everyone in this family, she's the brightest and the one with the most perseverance. You've always had a reputation for recognizing talents and using them well. Now a talent is right before your eyes. Why don't you use her? Silas also tried his best to persuade his father. After some thought, Winston said seriously, okay, since you want to take over the family business, I'll let you have a go at it. Consider it my birthday present to you. Alyssa automatically sat up straight, and her eyes gleamed with excitement. Rest for a few days. After that, I'll take you to Solana City's KS World Hotel to report for duty. If you can enhance the business and turn a loss-making enterprise into a profitable one, I'll consider letting you become the president of KS Group. When they left the study, both her brothers put their hands on her shoulder. Great responsibility only falls on those who are equally great, Jonah said. He just had to go and give you a mess to clean up. Silas sighed. I know. The old man is doing this so that I'll quit. Unfortunately, this method isn't useful against me. I'm like a coiled spring. Any pressure will only make me stronger. Alyssa clenched her fists. The ambition that had been dormant inside her for 3 years was slowly rising to the surface. The brothers glanced at each other and smiled. My dear sister, we'll leave our future freedom in your hands. Chapter 4. 5 days later, Jasper called his secretary, Xavier Hall, to his office. How is the investigation on Alice White going? Jasper looked out from the floor-to-ceiling windows at Solana City. His tall, upright figure projected an overbearing silhouette. I am sorry, Mr. Beckett. There isn't any progress, Xavier nervously reported. After Madame Alice left that night, she didn't return to the sanatorium where she worked. I even went to her address only to find out that it was fake. There weren't any families with the last name White in that area. The address is fake? Jasper was shocked. He finally turned to look at Xavier, his gaze oppressive. Yes, I went to the local police station to check things out, but there is no such person. Xavier had addressed her as Madame Alice for 3 years. It was hard for him to change this habit. Jasper was stunned. Who did he marry? Was she a spy? She left with Jonah Taylor that night. There's nothing related to him. To be honest, if Mr. Taylor deliberately hid the fact that he had a new lover, it would be hard for us to find any clues. When Jasper heard that, he raised his brows in anger. Jonah Taylor looks like a gentleman with good manners. How could he do such a despicable thing like stealing someone's wife? Well, he's not really stealing. He's just taking over the duties. Instantly, Jasper glared at him. So Xavier dared not speak another word. Jasper couldn't forget the scene of that night, when Jonah was so protective of Alice. He was unsure why, but he had a suffocating feeling in his heart. His wife had always been dull. Also, Jonah was famous in their circle for being a ruthless and cold man. So how did she manage to attract an indifferent guy like Jonah to protect her? Jasper, can we not get a divorce? It's because I love you. Jasper recalled what she had said to him on the day of their divorce. Liar. He narrowed his eyes, and the temperature in the room seemed to drop. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. Then his phone vibrated. He put away these thoughts. When he found that it was Liana calling, he quickly answered. Leah, what's the matter? Jasper, I'm in your company's lobby. Can you come and bring me up? I made some dessert for you. I want you to have a taste of it immediately. Liana's voice was sweet and cloying through the phone. and Xavier got goosebumps just listening to it. You're at the lobby? Jasper frowned. Yes. What's the matter, Jasper? Don't you want to meet me? Liana asked coquettishly. It's nothing. Xavier will bring you up. After he ended the call, his expression was dark. He hadn't completed the divorce procedures with Alice, so the news of their divorce was not yet public. It might cause unnecessary rumors if Liana visited him at this time. He wasn't scared of anything. It was just that. His phone vibrated again. When he saw the caller, he became nervous. Grandpa. You fool. Bastard. Do you never listen to what I say? His grandfather, Newton Beckett, scolded. Haven't I told you that you're not allowed to contact that woman if you marry Alice? But you actually brought her to the company? Even if you don't care about your reputation, you should care about Alice's. Get over here right now. The atmosphere was suffocating in the reception room. Newton held his cane as he sat down with the help of his secretary and his son. However, his expression was sullen. Jasper stood straight before his grandfather. Meanwhile, Liana waited outside as she was barred from the meeting. Newton had declared, "This kind of cheap bitch is not worth my time." Explain. What's that woman doing here? Newton banged his cane. Dad, calm down. Javier patted his father's back while he glared at Jasper in dismay. Grandpa, the 3-year contract is up. Jasper's voice was hoarse. You promised me that I only have to be married to Alice White for 3 years. After that, I can choose to stay married or divorce. Newton's face instantly paled with shock. He had enjoyed Alice's 3 years with the family, so he didn't realize that much time had passed. Now, I'm ending this marriage to be with the woman I love. You shouldn't have any objection to this. Alice has also signed the divorce papers. We'll go through the formalities soon, Jasper said indifferently. What? You divorced her? Newton was outraged. When he got up, his vision blacked out momentarily, and he almost fainted. Jasper quickly rushed forward and supported his grandfather. However, Newton pushed him away angrily. Dad, they haven't gotten the divorce certificate yet. All they did was sign the papers. You've just been through a stroke, so you can't be agitated. Javier was worried Newton's stroke would relapse. Oh my, what sin have I committed? I wasn't happy with Sophia as my daughter-in-law. Why can't I find a granddaughter-in-law that I'm satisfied with? Jasper stood there awkwardly with his hand in mid-air, while Javier was conflicted. I want Alice. Get her back. If you divorce her, I won't have any appetite to eat. I don't want anyone else. I just want Alice to be my granddaughter-in-law. Newton was like a child having a tantrum. Jasper, call Alice over to see me right now. Newton urged him. Grandpa, it's useless. Even if I call her over to spend time with you, our marriage has already ended. There's no way it will continue. Jasper felt it was better to have a clean break. As time passed, they would soon forget about this. Newton started to twitch and fell backward. Jasper and Javier were both frightened by this. Immediately, one called the doctor while the other went to get his medication. The scene was chaotic. With no other choice, Jasper could only call Alice. The number you have dialed is not in service. Not only did Alice go missing, but she had deleted her phone number? Damn it. Jasper clenched his fist tightly. On the other end of the city, at the front door of KS World Hotel, all the executives anxiously awaited their new manager. I heard the new general manager is a young woman. I don't believe she'll succeed. The 4 male general managers that came before her failed to turn the company's business around. They have either been moved to other branches or resigned. Do you guys really think she could change the situation? I heard she's Mr. Taylor's daughter. Mr. Taylor has so many wives. She might be the illegitimate daughter who isn't valued, right? Otherwise, why would he send his precious daughter to clean up this mess? The crowd snickered. She's here. The new boss is here. A Rolls-Royce came to a stop at the entrance, followed by several Maybachs, creating a spectacular scene. The executives were silent when they saw the 9999 car plate, and no one dared to breathe. When the car door opened, black high-heeled shoes with red bottoms caught their eyes first. They were frightfully tall. Then, a woman with a beautiful figure and long, flowing hair walked out of the car. She was stunning, and her expression was bold. No one dared to look at her directly. Hello everyone. Alyssa smiled. Her beauty was out of this world. I'm your new general manager. However, I'm not an illegitimate daughter. Sorry to disappoint you. The people who had said that became terrified. Just moments ago, Alyssa had hacked into the hotel surveillance while she was in the car. Chapter 5. That was how she heard the executives talking behind her back. How dare they say that? You're the Taylor family's only daughter, and the daughter of the first wife. Are they out of their minds? Alyssa's secretary, Sean Lynch, was furious. Come on. That mindset is old-fashioned. Who cares about whether I'm the first wife's daughter? I don't care, so why should you bother? Alyssa narrowed her eyes and pinched Sean's face. Instantly, the young secretary blushed. Alyssa, you're the future president of KS Group. Can you at least act with dignity? Don't tease Sean. Jonah frowned slightly. What's the matter? Big bosses are allowed to tease their female secretaries. Why can't a female boss touch her male secretary's face? Alyssa snickered. It's his honor to be touched by me. Jonah shook his head, his eyes showing only love and tenderness. Soon, the executives surrounded Jonah and Alyssa. Michael Grant, one of the VPs, took them to the VIP elevator, but Alyssa said, I want to take a look at the restaurant first. She didn't beat around the bush, and her first objective was to observe this hotel. Terrified, Michael brought them to the buffet restaurant. Jonah remained silent, as if he was invisible, and allowed his sister to do whatever she needed. It wasn't lunchtime, so there weren't any customers, but a few waiters were already putting out the food. Alyssa glanced at the dishes, and suddenly stopped before the seafood area. Then, she rolled up her sleeve, and put her hand into the glass aquarium. She accurately took out a dead shrimp from among the hundreds of live ones. Explain. This isn't dead yet. Mr. Grant stuttered. You can have it then, since it's not dead, Alyssa smirked. MS. Alyssa, as you can see, there are hundreds of shrimps. It's normal for one to suffocate to death. It's normal to find one dead. But do you think it's normal for the guest to get food poisoning from it? The smile on Alyssa's face was gone. Also, there are a total of 356 shrimps here. I took a rough look, and 5 were dead. There are around 30 shrimps that are on the verge of death. I'm not sure what the guests who paid $300 to eat here would think, but if it were me, I would have blacklisted this hotel forever. Handle all the ingredients from the seafood area properly, and change the suppliers. If I see another dead shrimp at lunch tomorrow, I'll let you have a taste of it. Michael almost fainted while the other executives were stunned by what happened. Only Jonah and Sean knew that Alyssa had a photographic memory. She once helped the police solve a case because of her keen eyes. So a few shrimps was a piece of cake for her. When they reached the guest rooms, Alyssa took a white handkerchief from Sean and wiped it gently across the wall and a picture frame. The cleaning is not done while there's dust. Redo it. The executives complained in their hearts. I know you guys are secretly cursing me, thinking that I'm being excessive and nitpicky, right? Alyssa looked calm, but her tone was serious. However, a hotel with a century-old reputation could also be wiped out by the neglect of such details. If the hotel inspector saw any of these issues, they could take down one of our stars. Then she glanced at Sean. He understood what she meant and ordered, open up the room. The manager of the housekeeping department quickly did as told. In the past, they would clean a few rooms, just for show during inspections by higher-ups. However, Alyssa went against their expectations. Alyssa walked into the room, and took a look at the bathroom first. Next, she sat on the bed. Instantly, her delicate face turned cold. However, she remained silent and ended her inspection. After that, she went to her office with Jonah. What are your thoughts after looking around? Jonah laughed. This place is filthy and messy. Alyssa sat on the sofa depressed. Then she covered her forehead and sighed. Is my dad trying to train me or play a prank on me? This hotel is the worst I've ever seen. Does this business really belong to the Taylors? Lice, Grandpa started this hotel. In the past, we wanted to expand our business by starting in the hotel industry, and we've managed it carefully. Only then could the KS Financial Group become what it is today. This hotel is not just an awful mess for you to clean up, but also a place of significance for the Taylors. However, we have too many businesses, and the hotel industry wasn't doing well the past 2 years. Plus, we have been busy with our own matters. So, we neglected the management. Jonah blamed himself. Lice, you'll have to deal with our mess. We're sorry. Suddenly, Alyssa noticed the black piano in the corner and gasped. I ordered for this to be placed here. I know you like playing the piano when you're not in a good mood. Sometimes you'll go a few laps around the horse track, right? Jonah's gaze was gentle as he said, I know you'll be busy during these 2 months. It's not realistic for you to go to the horse track. If you're tired, you can play a few songs. You're good at this. I remember. Thank you, Jonah. I haven't played in a long time. Alyssa found it hard to swallow, and the almost healed wound in her heart ripped open again. What's the matter? Jonah was shocked. When I was a doctor, I hurt my hand while helping to save a soldier. The ligament of my little finger was torn. Although the finger's not broken, it's tantamount to being useless. I can't stretch my fingers too far, and I can't play many songs anymore, so I've decided to stop playing. Alyssa tried her best to stay calm when she said this. Jonah was distressed and took her hand to check it. Were you injured because of Jasper Beckett? Yes and no. Alyssa felt the pain in her heart increase when she heard his name. Still, she showed a bright smile. It's for world peace. I did it to make my family proud. 5 years ago, she encountered Jasper again, after missing him for years. It was on a battlefield on the borders of Xovia. She was a field doctor, and he was a soldier. He fought for peace, and she almost disabled her hand to bring him back to safety. In the past, she felt it was an honor. Now she only felt pain when her little finger that was numb. But the past should be left in the past. She had loved the wrong person, and would never shed another tear for him again. Suddenly, Sean knocked and quickly entered the office. Miss Alyssa, I have found our hotel's bedding and furniture supplier. It's mostly from Elysian Home. Mr. Grant is responsible for contacting them. Elysian again. Alyssa crossed her slender legs and narrowed her eyes dangerously. Tell the finance department to prepare the accounts for these past 2 years. Also, contact a new bedding supplier and change out everything that belongs to Elysian. Are you really going to cause such a huge commotion? Jonah raised his brow. Elysian Home is Jasper's first love's brother's company. Oh, this is revenge, Jonah and Sean said at the same time. It's not. They've been selling inferior bedding products to the KS World Hotel. I have to punish them. Alyssa sneered. She was furious at the thought of the hard mattress she sat on. The feeling of discomfort, while staying at the hotel, would affect the customer's impression. It was no wonder there were so many bad reviews. Right. There's another thing, Sean added. You asked me to keep an eye on the Becketts. I've received news that Newton Beckett had another stroke, and he's hospitalized. He's staying in the hospital under our group. He's hospitalized. Alyssa instantly stood up with worry. At this time, Jonah's phone rang. He looked down and smiled. Lice, it's your ex-husband. Chapter 6. Alyssa was shocked to see the name on Jonah's phone. Should I answer it? Jonah asked. Yes. He slowly answered the call and put it on speaker, but he was in no hurry to speak. Mr. Jonah, are you with my wife? Jasper asked in a hoarse voice. Alyssa found his words incendiary and became furious in an instant. Mr. Jasper, please mind your words. I'm your ex-wife. Alice White, I knew you'd be with him. Jasper's tone was deep. Should I be waiting at your house to be kicked out then? On the other end of the call, Jasper's expression turned dark. I advise you not to be in such a hurry. We haven't completed the procedures, and the divorce certificate hasn't been issued. You're still legally my wife. Please be mindful of the Beckett's reputation as if it's your own. You took Liana Gardner to Seaview Manor and forced me to sign the papers. Jasper Beckett, did you care for my reputation when you did that? Alyssa sneered, then continued. One-sided courtesy doesn't mean anything. Since you don't care about my reputation, why should I care for the Becketts? After all, I respectfully gave up my position as the president's wife to Liana. You should ask her about that. Jonah raised his brow and took a sip of tea. This was the real Alyssa. The obedient and gentle wife, who was always wronged by the Becketts, was just a persona she had made up for Jasper. Although he felt that his sister was perfect, he liked the feisty woman that was not scared of the world and had no restraints more. Thankfully, she had returned. Jasper sounded tired when he spoke again. I don't have time to argue with you. Grandpa is sick. He's in the hospital, and he's been asking to see you. He won't take his meds if you're not here. Alyssa became distressed when she heard that. Although she was already divorced, old Mr. Beckett was good to her. She could give up all the assets and not want a single penny, but she couldn't let go of that adorable old man. He's at the hospital under Taylor Group, right? I'll go over in a moment. After she ended the call, she sighed. Lice, I'll send you over, Jonah said gently. It's okay. I'm going there to visit Grandpa. I don't want to cause another unnecessary fight. It'll only worsen the situation if you send me over. She waved her hand and added, I'll drive. At the hospital, Jasper and Xavier were standing outside Newton's ward. Alyssa walked over and noticed that Jasper was skinnier. Dang it! Why should I care about him? Whether he's gotten skinnier or fatter, it'd never be because of me. He can do whatever he likes. Alyssa cursed in her heart. When she stopped before them in her heels, the two men looked up at her. They were both taken aback, especially Jasper. He could not recognize the woman who had been his wife for 3 years. Xavier, how is Grandpa doing? Alyssa didn't even look at Jasper. And Madam Alice, is it really you? Xavier was dumbfounded and asked a stupid question. The woman before him had delicate makeup and sexy red lips. She was in a professional black suit that showed her curves, and the ruby butterfly brooch on her chest was dazzling. Alyssa was also taken aback. As she had rushed over, she forgot to change into sneakers and turn herself into the obedient Alice White. It's me all right. Don't you like my new style? No, that's not it. You're so much prettier. Also, you look much more confident and spirited than before. Xavier was honest and said exactly what was on his mind. Is that so? Maybe it's because of the divorce. She smiled. I finally got to see the light again, so I look much happier. Jasper's expression darkened, and he felt irritated. Since you were so unhappy, why did you stay for 3 years? Didn't I repeatedly tell you that you can cancel the marriage anytime? We didn't need to wait for 3 years like prisoners. I could have brought you to Grandpa and ended it. Hearing that, Alyssa felt distressed. This was Jasper Beckett. No one could affect him if he had no feelings for them. Even if she put in her heart and soul for him, he wouldn't care. Back then, she loved this cold and prideful man so much that she had thrown herself into the relationship without inhibition, and the consequences were devastating. I made a promise to Grandpa, so I had to adhere to it. Since I promised to stay in this marriage for 3 years, I had to stick by it. But now you're free. You can bring any woman you want back home. You don't need to sneak out and meet your lover like before. Alyssa sneered. Jasper was speechless. Did she have such different personalities? Did she think that since they were divorced now, she might as well go all out? However, he felt she was much more attention-grabbing than how she was previously. There was a flash of emotion in his indifferent eyes. Jasper. Alyssa turned and saw Liana walking over with Sophia. When she saw that Alyssa was here, there was hostility in her gaze. However, it lasted only for a moment, and was quickly replaced by an innocent gaze. Why are you guys here? Jasper asked in surprise. Just as he was done asking this, Liana pounced into his embrace and wrapped her arms around his waist. Jasper, why didn't you tell me about such a serious matter? Do you consider me your girlfriend or not? Yes, Jasper. Do you know how worried Liana was when she heard that Grandpa was hospitalized? She vomited her lunch. Sophia felt distressed for her niece. What happened? Why did you vomit? Jasper asked worriedly. She's always had gastric problems. It comes back whenever she's nervous. It's not a big deal, but it just never gets better. Sophia sighed. I'll find a good doctor for her. If the doctors in the country can't treat her, I'll take her abroad to look for a cure. The man was gentle as he wrapped his arm around Liana's waist. Alyssa sneered in her heart when she thought of the time her stomach problem kicked in. Back then, she was so sick yet she had to go to the hospital alone. She didn't tell him about it, but he never even showed concern even though her face was pale, and she looked weak. It turned out that it was not that Jasper didn't know how to love, but that she was just not worthy enough to get his love. Liana leaned into Jasper's arms and stared at Alyssa with a malicious smile. Wait, why did she change so much? She's become so beautiful. The butterfly brooch on her chest. Isn't that the latest design from the famous designer Alexa? It's worth $5 million. How could a country bumpkin like her afford it? This bitch doesn't have any money. It must be a fake, Liana thought to herself. Jasper, why don't you let Liana accompany you to visit Grandpa? She cried all the way here and was so worried about him. Sophia was very enthusiastic and acted as if Alyssa, who had taken care of their family for 3 years, was invisible. However, Alyssa only maintained an indifferent expression. She didn't even care about Jasper, so why should she care about her? At this moment, Newton's secretary walked out of the ward. Mr. Beckett asked for his granddaughter-in-law. Is she here? Liana showed envy when she heard that. Ben, I'm here. Worried, Alyssa walked up. She didn't care about titles now that they were in such a situation. Madam Alice. Ben respectfully gestured for her to enter. Mr. Beckett has asked for you and Mr. Jasper. Alyssa didn't say anything else, and walked into the ward. Jasper pursed his lips and followed behind her. Jasper, wait for me. Liana quickly followed, but Ben stopped her. Sorry, but Mr. Beckett ordered that he doesn't want to see anyone else besides his grandson and granddaughter-in-law. Please leave. Chapter 7. Inside the ward, the sickly Newton instantly saw a lift in spirits upon seeing Alyssa. Alice, come over here. In the next second, Alyssa changed her persona and obediently stood beside Newton. Grandpa, how are you feeling? Does it hurt anywhere? Even if it hurts, I feel cured after seeing you. Newton pulled her hand and asked worriedly. Alice, this bastard told me you guys are divorced. Is that true? Yes. Grandpa, we're divorced. Alyssa's eyelashes trembled, and her heart felt empty. You blind bastard. You have such a great wife, yet you don't know how to appreciate her. Newton expended all his strength to get up and glared at Jasper. Jasper was worried about Newton's condition and dared not speak rashly. Grandpa, don't be mad at him. I don't want to continue this marriage. I think it's better for us to break up. Alyssa gently comforted him and patted his back. Jasper's eyes narrowed as he thought. She's not complaining to my grandfather, or using him to vent her anger and take revenge. Could she be using a new trick to get my attention and save this marriage? Alice White, what gave you the confidence to think I would be attracted by you? Alice, were you wrong during your time with the Becketts? Did Sophia mistreat you? Newton asked in dismay. No, Grandpa. I just don't think Jasper and I are a good match. We won't have any feelings for each other. So the best outcome is to split up. Sadness shone in Alyssa's eyes. Don't blame Jasper. We made some good memories during these 3 years too. That's enough. Neither of us regrets it. Jasper frowned, and there was a perplexing emotion in his heart. He didn't remember sharing any good memories with her. He didn't even give her a wedding ceremony. They had only gotten their marriage certificate under Newton's urging. After that, she simply packed her stuff and moved in with the Becketts. Just like that, she became his wife. Did she really find those memories good? She must be lying. Alice, could it be my fault? Newton's eyes were teary. Then he sighed. I had hoped that you guys would be happy, so I paired you two together. I didn't expect this bastard to be such a rascal. It seems I've wronged you. Don't say that. Love fades and I've gotten back my freedom. I've already gotten over this relationship. She had been deeply in love with him for 13 years. Only the heavens knew how painful it was to let it go. It was like being skinned alive. It was Jasper who was heartless. If she continued trying to stay with him, she would lose her dignity. She didn't want to become a hated woman who went all out for the slightest affection from a man. Ben, bring over the birthday present I prepared for my granddaughter-in-law. Ben put on white gloves before passing over a delicate red velvet jewelry box. When it was opened, Alyssa saw an emerald bracelet inside. She had some understanding of antiques, and realized this item must be at least a century old. Grandpa, this is Grandma's. Jasper was shocked. Yes, I gave this to your grandma when we first got together. It's a precious treasure of the Becketts. It was passed down from your great-grandfather, Newton said as he looked at the bracelet under the sun. His gaze was gentle as he said, Your grandmother told me this before she passed. This was her favorite piece of jewelry, and she hoped I would give it to the granddaughter-in-law I was happy with. Your grandmother isn't here, so I'll give it to Alice in her place. She's the only one worthy of it. No, Grandpa. This is too expensive. Moreover, I'm not. Alyssa rejected it. Even if you're no longer with Jasper, you're the only granddaughter-in-law I acknowledge. Seeing that she refused, Newton acted stubbornly. If you don't take it, I'll smash it. Don't. No. Alyssa held his hand in horror, her heart almost jumping out from shock. I'll take it. Thank you, Grandpa. That's more like it. Newton was satisfied and put it on her wrist. Alyssa had smooth skin, so her arm looked fairer upon wearing the emerald bracelet. This was the first time Jasper took a close look at her hand and found that it was soft and smooth. She really did look good with the emerald bracelet on. Bastard, what did you give Alice for her birthday? Newton asked. Grandpa Jasper gave me an unforgettable present. Jasper clenched his fist and his lips were pale. He did gift her something: divorce papers. Alice, is there really no turning back between you and Jasper? Newton didn't plan to give up. Grandpa. Alyssa held his hand. If you really love me, you should support my decision and let me live the life I want, right? Since the matter has come to this point, I can't say anything more. I only have one wish that I hope you can fulfill. Please stay until my 80th birthday is over, okay? It's only in a few days. Newton tried his best to make her stay longer. Grandpa, that's not appropriate. Jasper frowned and rejected the idea. Why is it not appropriate? Don't tell me you plan on bringing that woman to my birthday and forcefully making her my granddaughter-in-law. Do those two women think they can do whatever they want to the Beckett men? In their dreams. Newton slapped the bed in anger. If you respect me and want me to live a few more years, you'd better stay away from her. I'm never going to accept her. Outside the ward, Liana walked around in panic. At the same time, she was furious. Stop walking around. My head is spinning because of you. Sophia rubbed her forehead. Why are you so worked up? You know how Newton feels about you. He has one foot in the grave already, and he won't be able to control Jasper for long. All you have to do is capture Jasper's heart, and that's enough. It's easy for you to say, but if Newton doesn't die, he'll never accept me. If that's the case, I can never marry Jasper. Liana quickly covered her mouth after saying that, worried someone might hear her. Newton didn't accept me back then either. So what? I still married Javier, Sophia said as she admired her manicure. Human heart is weak and soft. This is his grandson after all. If Jasper insists on marrying you, do you think he can really stop him? Liana realized that Sophia was right and felt much calmer. Finally, the door to the ward opened, and Ben walked Alyssa and Jasper out. After rearranging her expression, Liana walked up to Jasper coquettishly. Suddenly she narrowed her eyes. The emerald bracelet on Alyssa's wrist was dazzling, and she couldn't look away. It was much more expensive than the supposedly heirloom she wore. Alyssa hadn't been wearing it when she arrived, so Newton must have just given it to her. Jealousy twisted up Liana's expression. A vicious plan came to mind, and she suddenly pounced on Alyssa. Liana pretended to have twisted her ankle and pulled the emerald bracelet from Alyssa's wrist to smash it. Unexpectedly, Alyssa narrowed her eyes and dodged her. With that, Liana fell to the ground, and the emerald bracelet around her own wrist broke in half. Chapter 8. Liana, are you okay? Sophia was shocked, but she also wanted to laugh. Jasper quickly walked over to pull her up from the ground, but she refused to move. Jasper, it hurts. Carry me. Liana's knees felt numb, and she cried while whining. Seeing this, Alyssa crossed her arms and looked at the woman on the ground. She was really a fake bitch, making her a good match for Jasper, who was blind to her tricks. Jasper, Alice pushed me. Liana hid in the man's arms and glared at Alyssa viciously. Leah, what are you talking about? He was taken aback. Are you sure I pushed you? Alyssa wasn't angry. Instead, she laughed and watched Liana's act. Could I have fallen to the ground by myself then? Liana was so angry that her gentle voice was a pitch higher. It's possible. After all, you look so weak you could die anytime. Maybe a breeze made you fall. Are you jinxing me? Liana's face was red from anger. You clearly pushed me when I walked over. What, don't you dare admit to what you did? Miss Gardner, we live in a lawful society. There's surveillance everywhere, so you can't just make false accusations whenever you want. Suddenly, Alyssa's clear gaze deepened, and her demeanor became oppressive. Once I find evidence, I can sue you for slander. Jasper was taken aback by how much Alice had changed. She was no longer the dull and obedient wife who waited for him at home. It was obvious that Liana was defeated, and she looked at Sophia for help. It's all a misunderstanding. Sophia glanced surreptitiously at the surveillance camera above and tried to smooth out the situation. Liana must have tripped and accidentally brushed past Alice, which is why she mistakenly thought that Alice pushed her. It's a misunderstanding. Leah, did you really trip? Jasper stared at Liana, his tone indifferent. I thought she pushed me. Jasper's expression darkened. Instantly, Liana was in a panic and argued. If she hadn't dodged, I wouldn't have fallen. She did it on purpose. Look, my emerald bracelet is broken now. It's an heirloom given by my grandma. It wouldn't have been broken if it weren't for her. Ms. White, I know you're angry because of your divorce from Jasper. But you can't vent your anger on me. Is it my fault that you guys divorced? As Liana spoke, tears rolled down her face. First of all, I'm not angry. On the contrary, I have to thank you for helping me escape my suffering. Now I no longer have to be a sorrowful wife that waits for him from dark till dawn. Alyssa raised her chin slightly and retorted. From dark till dawn. Jasper thought, and the shock on his face was obvious. Secondly, if this is your heirloom, you should thank me. She took up half of the broken emerald as she spoke, and shone it under the light. It's a fake. What? Liana was taken aback, and even Sophia was shocked. The middle part of this emerald has been filled with gum. It won't be good for your health if you wear it long term, as the chemicals will seep through the skin and affect your blood circulation. After speaking, she threw it into the garbage. The emerald bracelet on her wrist that was gifted to her by Newton became the biggest mockery to Liana. Mr. Jasper, Ms. Garner is your girlfriend. You should at least give her some decent jewelry, Alyssa teased. Alice White. He frowned. There are a few emerald ornaments on my dressing table in the Beckett's residence. If you don't mind, you can use them to make a bracelet for yourself. Alyssa patted away the dust on her hand, as if Liana's emerald had dirted her hands. Liana was furious and thought, this bitch. She's trying to ridicule me by offering me those emerald ornaments. She wanted to retort, but Alyssa had left. Outside the hospital, Alyssa couldn't help but laugh when she thought about how Liana had made a fool out of herself. Alice White. Alyssa immediately turned back when she heard Jasper's charming voice. The breeze lifted her hair, giving her an extra feeling of unsullied beauty. He narrowed his eyes as he walked to her. Is there anything I can help you with, Mr. Beckett? Her expression was cold. If Ms. Gardner is still distressed about her bracelet, I'll send her a new one tomorrow. In the ward just now you told Grandpa. Oh, about that? Don't overthink it. I just didn't want Grandpa to get angry. Alyssa's gaze only became gentle when Newton was mentioned. Where even now? This puzzled Alyssa. You faked your identity to marry me. Where even now? I won't tell Grandpa nor the Becketts about this. The man's expression was sullen. She widened her eyes in shock, wondering, can I deny it? However, you must tell me why you used a fake identity when you married me. No, I should phrase it another way. Jasper gradually moved close to her and asked, what was your motive in getting close to Grandpa with a fake identity? Alyssa felt a pain in her heart and secretly retreated. However, she forgot that there was a step behind her. She lost her balance and fell backward. But in the next second, she felt a warm touch on her waist when Jasper caught her. Their eyes met, and she blushed. Meanwhile, his breathing became messed up as well. Until today, she still felt that Jasper's face was a gift from heaven. 13 years ago, she had been 11. She would never forget his bright eyes in the scary and dark thunderstorm. Jasper had once saved her. If it wasn't for him, she wouldn't be alive today. However, he had hurt her repeatedly, making her feel as though she was in a living hell. At this moment, Jasper pulled her back, and they both stood straight. Thank you. Answer my question. Jasper persisted. I'm no longer your wife. I'm not obliged to tell you. Alyssa sneered. Then she turned away. Since you said we're even, why are you not letting me go? Even if I did use a fake identity, I never did anything to hurt you during the 3 years we were together now. All of a sudden, Jasper grabbed her arm. We're not officially divorced and you're still legally my wife. You're obliged to tell me about your identity. I can't tell you. Alyssa uttered, her eyes red. Mr. Jasper, you keep mentioning responsibility, but don't you find it funny? Have you ever fulfilled your duties as a husband during our 3-year marriage? Why do I have to oblige you in the name of being your wife? Alice White, don't think I won't have other ways to deal with you. He pulled her into his embrace, and their breaths intertwined. He wasn't someone who was easily angered, but since Alyssa left, he found himself losing his patience more and more. Go and investigate me then. What's the use of asking? She broke free from him and left without turning back. He stared at her cold figure and remembered her red lips and deadly high heels. Suddenly he felt depressed. Why did she become like this? Could it be to please Jonah? What a malicious woman. I don't know what Grandpa likes about her, Jasper thought. Mr. Jasper, Ms. Gardner said her ankle is twisted, and she's crying for you, Xavier ran over and said while panting. All of a sudden, they heard the roar of an engine. That's Madame Alice. Jasper saw his ex-wife in a sports car driving arrogantly past him. And it was a limited edition Bugatti too. It turns out Madame Alice is secretly rich. Xavier was stunned. Jasper's gaze deepened and he clenched his fists. Go after her. Chapter 9. Alyssa held the steering wheel with one hand, looking extremely cool. She raced through the streets while listening to her favorite revenge song, Burning Revenge. She was not afraid of Jasper finding out her identity. It was just that she couldn't wrap her head around why he had ignored her existence for 3 years, only to suddenly become curious about her after their marriage came to an end. Sure enough, men were assholes. When they were given love and attention, they'd feel disgusted. In contrast, they'd take the initiative to get closer once they were abandoned and treated like trash. Suddenly, Alyssa looked in the rearview mirror and frowned. Not far behind, Jasper was chasing her in his Lamborghini. You want to give chase, huh? In your dreams. Alyssa smirked and floored the accelerator. The Bugatti drifted to the left like a flash of lightning, before disappearing in the blink of an eye. Quick! Follow her closely. Jasper was in the passenger seat and urged. Xavier had never driven so quickly, and his heart was pounding hard. Finally, they caught up to Alyssa's car. Jasper looked indifferent, but he secretly felt relieved. Mr. Jasper, Madame Alice's driving skills are amazing. That sticker isn't there in vain. Xavier praised. Sticker? Jasper frowned. Look at Madame Alice's butt. Jasper's expression darkened, and Xavier broke out in a cold sweat from nervousness. Sorry, my mistake. I meant to say, please look at the butt of Madame Alice's car. With that said, Jasper followed his gaze and saw a white initial C sticker that looked weird. Don't you know? Madame Alice loves animated films, especially Initial C. It's about race cars, and I always saw her watching it in the living room. Xavier was excited the more he talked and continued. I didn't expect Madame Alice to be so talented. I thought she was a weak woman who couldn't take care of herself. It was not only Xavier who felt that way, as Jasper also felt that he had been deceived by her. However, he was even angrier at the fact that his secretary knew so much about his wife, while he was clueless about these things. Oh no! Madame Alice sped up. Follow her. Your salary will get cut if you can't chase her down. Jasper gritted his teeth, his handsome face like a sculpture. Xavier didn't want his salary cut, but he was also scared they might die. In the end, Alyssa made 2 flawless drifts, and they couldn't even catch sight of her car's rear lights again. Ivy lost her. Xavier deflated. Jasper slammed his fist on the car window, and the veins on his forehead were protruding. Alice White, why do you keep hiding from me? What's your true identity? He thought. At night, Jonah and Silas came to Alyssa's private villa. They were busy cooking in the vast kitchen. Alyssa had a lollipop in her mouth as she played a game on her phone, and occasionally looked at her handsome brother's cooking. Okay, double kill. Alyssa looked at her result and happily clapped. Lice, you're still good at this. Silas smiled. He had the kindest smile among the 4 brothers. Look, this character is a famed butcher, he's really useful. Alyssa kneeled on the couch and propped her arms on the coffee table. She looked adorable with the lollipop in her mouth. Confident, are you? Let's play around tomorrow, and I'll teach you a lesson. Lice almost got your game account banned. You'd better not make trouble for yourself, Jonah said as he picked up a freshly sliced steak and fed it to Alyssa. Fuck. It was because Axel suddenly retreated from the round last time. Otherwise we would have won. Alyssa was unconvinced. We're gonna have dinner soon. Lice, you're allergic to smoke. Go to the living room and wait, Jonah urged gently. Alyssa was taken aback, and tears stung at her eyes. She dared not tell her brothers that she had been a cook for the Becketts for 3 years despite her smoke allergy. She endured 3 years of oil and smoke while her hands grew rough due to the frequent cooking. Gradually, she had become immune to the smoke. She feared that her 3 brothers might kill Jasper if she told them about this. It was only Jonah who might have a trace of compassion, due to his personal beliefs. Alyssa was the princess of the Taylor family, and had never done any chores previously. How could the Becketts be so ruthless toward her? However, she had gone back to a peaceful life now. She would never let herself become so low for a man she could never get. At this time, Jonah's phone rang. He quickly wiped his hand, and took out his phone from the apron pocket. Then, he looked at Alyssa with a complicated gaze. "It's your ex-husband. Fuck. Has he gotten addicted to calling you?" Alyssa's face was red from anger, and her lollipop fell to the table. "What do you mean? Jonah, has that fucker been calling you?" Silas sat beside his sister. Then, he smoothly picked up the lollipop and sucked on it. "Don't tell me that guy thinks you're Lys's boyfriend after you guys bumped into each other at the lake? He does think that." Silas cursed. "What the fuck? Is he blind? What's the matter? Am I not worthy?" Jonah laughed in a very amiable manner. "He should get his eyes checked. You don't look like her boyfriend. You're more like her father." Her brothers started teasing Alyssa, and she felt like she was about to explode in anger. "Should I answer it?" Jonah asked. "No. Pick it up." Jonah obeyed his sister's command, and put the call on speaker. "I'm looking for my wife." Jasper's tone was much more natural compared to this morning, and there was even a hint of possessiveness. "You little..." Silas was about to curse, but Alyssa pressed his head onto the coffee table. "Mr. Beckett, Alice is no longer your wife. You guys are divorced," Jonah reminded him, and considerately referred to Alyssa as Alice, so that they wouldn't be exposed. "She knows she's still my wife." Jasper's tone was cold. "Jasper Beckett, you threatened me and chased after my car. What exactly do you want?" Alyssa closed the speaker, and took the phone in irritation. "I have something to say to you privately." Thus, Alyssa went to an empty room, walked in, closed the door, and got back on the call after taking a few deep breaths. "Speak." "I'm busy. Why did you change your phone number?" Jasper's tone was still cold. "I want a fresh new start, and a clean cut with the past. Grandpa needs to contact you in the future. Give me your new number, so that it's easier for us to contact you." From the way he spoke, he made it seem as if it was her duty to give her number to him. "It's easy to get to me. You just have to find Mr. Taylor." Alyssa smirked. "Alice White, is this your way of taking revenge?" He said through gritted teeth. "You've already moved in with Jonah Taylor after leaving me, huh? You told me your name was Alice White. So, have you figured out what name you're gonna have him call you?" "Jasper Beckett." She was furious and clenched her fist. "Don't you think you're too naive to use such a method to take revenge? Do you think I really care about who you're with?" He laughed before continuing. "I don't want Grandpa to be disappointed in you. I hope he doesn't find out the person he treasures is so shameless. Even if you don't care about your dignity, at least be respectful at Grandpa's 80th birthday banquet, and don't let the rumors spread to him." Alyssa was so angry that she couldn't utter a word. In the end, she chose to end the call. In the dark, she leaned against the wall and panted heavily. Still, she could not cast away the pain that Jasper brought her. Why did it hurt so much? She had already sworn to herself that he was dead to her. She rubbed her eyes, and they quickly turned red. "Jasper Beckett, how can you treat me like this? It turns out the love I had for you for the past 13 years was a mistake."